Hello, YouTubers. Charles here, and I'm back with something some of you have been waiting a while for. So let's just get right into it. Schematic to command block 1.13 is sort of ready. It's sort of ready because it's not really schematic to command block anymore. It's now structured to command block. Sure, by now most of you know that there was big changes under the hood of Minecraft for 1.13. Sorry, fishy. Actually, this isn't safe if there's more than one fish in here, so they tend to push each other out. And, well, I don't have a bucket at the moment. Anyway, so Minecraft, this Minecraft Java 1.13.1, and things have changed a lot from 1.12. Specifically, blocks used to be saved by block ID and block data, which was 4 bits of additional data that would describe like rotation of certain blocks, and that's all gone. Now blocks are described by a name and block state, which can be one or more name value pairs. And so that basically, Minecraft used to have a limit of 255 blocks, and they were at, I think, 253 at the end of 1.12. And now we have a whole lot more blocks available, and they can keep adding blocks. And boy, have they. For example, flower pots. That is a block. Escape. That is a completely different block with a completely different name. So many blocks that used to be the same, like a lot of the logs shared. Basically, there was only 2 real log blocks, and the block data specified what type of log and which direction it was facing. Now every log is its own block, with just a data for which way it's facing. Yeah, there's like 20 different flower pots because it's a flower pot with dark oak tree, oak tree, birch tree, red flower, yellow flower, or poppy and dandelion, I think as the case may be. Anyway, yeah, so besides all the new blocks, such as waterlogged blocks here, and coral blocks, and we got some new slabs and stairs, and a whole bunch of other things. Yeah. Lots of new block, basically I had to recode the whole program, which is all here. You can see I now have a list of all the block names and some data about them, like in this case, hey, purple stained glass is transparent, which I need to know. Basically, there's certain things that would cause issues if I didn't handle them properly. So, like, a bed needs, it used to need to be placed on something, and that's what that true is for, to make sure there's a block under it when it's placed. I'm actually not sure if that's the case anymore. But, this first one is air, does it have inventory, is it attached to a wall, like a torch, so we have to make sure the wall is there first. And is it part of a multi-block, like this 2 tall seagrass? So I had to go through, get all the new names. I think I got them all. I mean, my first few passes, I definitely missed some. This actually isn't a first pass. This is the result of trying to use an old structure from 1.12, and yeah, block names changed, and so they're not supported anymore. So yeah, limitations of the new program. Or let me show you the program. There'll be a link to download. You'll get a zip file, which that opens on my second window. but it will just contain the jar and a README. The jar is this one. Double click on it. If you have Java installed, which you should if you're playing Minecraft Java, you will get this. This is instructions. You can read it. You should read it. But basically, you want to set your settings. For most things, the default settings are going to be okay. Then you're going to choose your schematic, which for me, I have my test schematics over here, or test structures. I should rename that. I should rename that. Things I'm noticing at the last minute. But you pick your structure. The one I was testing with a lot is this orange building. You click open, it does some calculating, and it says, hey, you need 6 command blocks to generate this. This will generate the command blocks to generate it. So, let's find a nice open area. Come over here to this swamp. Just because. Go on top of this tree. So you get a command block. To get a command block, you need to be in creative mode. If you don't know how to get into creative mode, the easiest way is to click Open to LAN, and then turn Allow Cheats on, and then say Start LAN World. Once you do that, I basically already don't need to do that. You can go here, type Game Mode, and it will help you. Type Creative. Now you're in creative mode. Now you need a command block. So you type give, and you put your name, or you put @p, that just means the closest player, and you type command block, COMMAND, and it will autofill the Minecraft command block. I hit tab to get it to auto complete. You hit enter. Hey, it gives you a command block. Now I have 2. I don't need 2. You only ever need 1 because when you place blocks in creative, you still have them. So you want to place the command block facing up, so the circle part is up. This is technically not necessary, but it just helps make sure everything worked. Now I had copied that. I'm going to right click on it. I had copied this here with Control C, your normal copy. I'm now going to hit Control V to paste it. This should be green. If it's not, you missed a character. But there's a problem with the program, but no. Green just means, hey, the Minecraft understands it. So now you will take a redstone torch, or a button, or redstone block, or a pressure plate, or some way of powering this with a redstone power. I'm just going to put a torch next to it. I said I'm just going to put a torch next to it. You can't place torches on leaves, so I just put that. And this happens. So this creates 6 command blocks for us in a nice little row, and it gives us a flying machine that will activate them. But first we have to put the commands in them. What this does is all the command blocks will be facing north. I am facing south right now. As you can see in the line about halfway down in the second block, says facing south towards positive Z. 3. So the structure is going to be built 1 block south and 1 block west. So it will be built starting here, from your initial command block, and it will go further south and further west. So here's the command blocks. They're all facing north, except every 5th one is facing up. So if you're doing a big long line of them, you can keep track 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is the 5th one. And if you have a really long list of command blocks, every 25th, so that's for every 5th one that's facing up, actually will be facing south. So you'll have the square on this side, instead of the circle or the up arrow. So that is how you know you've gotten to the 25th. So it's just to, make sure you're putting all the commands in the right position. So I'm going to right-click on the first one. Here's my utility. And I'm going to click this copy command 1. And I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to hit paste. I didn't have to hit Control-C. Clicking copy command 1 automatically puts the command in your clipboard. And you can just paste it, click done. You go over to number 2, copy command 2, paste, done. Copy command 3, paste, done. Copy command 4, paste, done. Now it says copy command 5, and look, I am up to the one with the circle on the top, so everything's good. I didn't miss one yet. And finally, click on the last one, click copy command 6. You can see it changes to all commands copied. Paste. If I had made a mistake at some point, I can click reset, and it resets at the beginning, and I kind of like hit 1, 2, oh, I need the third one. Alright, now I can continue. But we're all good. I'm going to hit done here. And then here is a flying machine. Doesn't matter if you know how they work or anything. Just have to know there's an observer with a face on one side, and there's an observer with a face on the other side. You need to go to the side furthest from your command blocks. Put a block or anything on the face here, and that activates it, and activates the whole building process. This will lag Minecraft a little bit, but it is now done. It ran all the commands in the command block and recreated this nice orange building. The yucky looking water because we're in a swamp. But you can see it's recreated this building, added the water, added the fire out front. The building is full of all sorts of goodies. If there was actually items in the chest when you had saved the schematic, it would have been recreated. You can see we got pots here. You can see we have signs that actually retain their text to look like drawers. I'm assuming that's what they're supposed to look like. This is not a building of my creation. It is something I downloaded off of a website. There are many that have structures saved. So you can see we got carpets and chairs and doors and trapdoors, chandeliers and a bed, and all sorts of things. And even up here we have crops growing. The age is saved. You can see some of these are not fully grown. Got some carrots, some wheat, some potatoes. And that's how this utility works. So, what are the limitations? Well, we used to be able to support schematic files, and there's a lot more saved Minecraft buildings and structures as schematic files than there are as structure files. But schematic files worked on the old Minecraft save format where everything is numbers. So the blocks are numbers. The block state, like the direction they're facing, and like if it's a right side up stair or upside down stair, it was all a number. And now I would have to either find the utility or write a utility that would, this is a stair, and so a data 3 means it's facing west, where data 9 is facing east and upside down. And do that for every single block, and they're all different. They all have different data. Different things that mean different data. A torch, a redstone torch, data 0 was on the ground, but 1 was like on the east wall or north wall, or and that those directions are completely different than the directions for stairs, and they're completely different than the directions for chests, which don't have a just on the floor. They're always either facing north, south, or east, west, where torch doesn't. So that's going to take a lot of work. I would like to do it either, hopefully finding someone who already has code that does it and incorporating that into my utility, or somehow calling their utility and taking its results and using that in my utility, or I may have to write something. uh, and that's going to take a while. I'm not going to start on that right away, but I do plan to eventually do that. Maybe starting in a month or two. Hopefully by then someone will have a working utility. The second limitation is quite a bit of a bigger one. Structures saved in Minecraft have a limited size of up to 32 pixels wide, 32 pixels deep, and 32 pixels blocks. I meant blocks, but 32 by 32 by 32 blocks. You cannot save a structure bigger than that. And I'm hoping my utility doesn't have that limitation. I used to work with schematic files, by 256 by 256 by 256, or even larger. Obviously, not larger in the up and down direction, but I have worked with some that were larger in the east-west or north-south direction. They took forever. They took several hundred command blocks, but they did work. And right now, if there was a structure file that was bigger, I don't care how big the structure file says it is. My utility will just keep converting the blocks into commands. Minecraft, though, won't save anything that's bigger. That's the biggest limitations. I do have some improvements, though. Here's all the stuff I tested. You can see this is, if you've seen any of my earlier structure to command blocks, this is a creeper base that I've been testing with just because it has so much variety of stuff. And you can see they also work. We get all the stairs facing the right directions. We get things recreated, potions with the correct potion effects, different items all recreated in the chest, a brewing stand, all sorts of stuff. Vines, torches on all sides, everything I've come across so far. If I found it not working, I fixed it. We got banners, all correctly recreated with their correct colors, correct patterns. I've got paintings working. Paintings are actually entities. They're not actually blocks, but they get positioned correctly. I've even improved my rail placing. There's an option, complex rail. So if you have a single rail line or a few and they just, don't touch, or this will be okay. If you have rail lines with complex corners, this isn't created correctly. This was my first test, and you can see it didn't really work out well. But I have got it, this is what it should look like, and it is now working like this. I have improved my complex rail algorithm a little bit, because initially it had gotten one of these intersections wrong, and I figured out a better way of doing things, and it's fixed that too. So this actually isn't even the final form. In that, here's actually the one. I was actually just testing this an hour ago, and is the last fix I got. And I even sort of have the minecart being placed correctly. In that previous one, it spawned in half in that block, which I have now fixed. The only problem with this is as it spawns in, some of these torches turn on, which, as you can see, this piston, the pistons should all be together here, and because some of the torches turned on and then get turned off, it activates some of the pistons. But I know if I just press this, it fixes itself. This is a really old design of mine for a minecart station that has 4 exits. And no matter where you are, these will be the rails out or in. You can It's not going to completely work because it's going to run out of momentum, but if I push, you can see the minecart will come up and go into the station. If a person's in it, obviously it won't slow down as quickly, but then you can press red, yellow, green. I mean, this is like for back when that was the best green block we had, and blue, and you'll wind up at red, yellow, green, blue, because the piston will either not extend at all, extend by 1, extend by 2, or extend by 3. Let's try this one. And then shoot that off, and you'll go out to the green exit. So, yeah. Complex mechanisms seem to work. We got, this was the very first test. It's supposed to be like that pagoda over there, except this was a structure saved in Minecraft 1.112, which, yes, they're not going to work. You're going to need to save all your structures anew. I'm sorry about that, but the names changed, and this they have all the block names saved in it, and like really a good, not even counting the new blocks, a good 20% of the old blocks have had their names changed. This is, well, if you're a music fan, you should recognize what this is, especially when I press this. Yeah, so no blocks work. I got piston doors here that work. Well, that one works. This one had an issue like those pistons where, because the order things got spawned in, a piston was activated before it was shut off, and I believe it broke this piece of redstone here, but once you fix that, it works great. You can see here the pagoda now looks great compared to like just the ring of little blocks, and the only thing is it's missing the top because that's as high as 32 blocks go, whereas this was a schematic exported by MC Edit, which was larger than 32 blocks, which I will handle. It's just you can't get them. A few other tests, importing different things. This was nice. A little piece of a much larger schematic that I had tested with in the past. Here's a treehouse type thing. Again, it's not the full thing because of space or size limitations, I should say. And a few more things over here. This is another semi-standard thing I've been testing with. This has a little bit of mechanism. And it's got some signs all over the place. It's got item frames that actually I had to fix because they were also initially not being placed correctly. They are working now. Bathroom, I think, with a working shower. Not great. I think there's a bedroom up there too. Anyhow, how do you make a structure? Well, here's lots of beacon beams, all different colors, or almost every color. I mean, it's every color that's possible with 2 pieces of glass. Yeah. Helps if I type correctly. At P. So you want to give yourself a structure block. Well, if I had room, let's try that again. it looks like this. So we're gonna make a structure here. We'll do the creeper base because that's my standard go-to. So we want these glowstone blocks and up. So I'm going to put this one block outside of this corner, and it doesn't matter what side I do this on, it will work. And I could do it over here. Thank you, sheep. Thank you. Oop. Okay. We are going to put it... Are you... You're still in the way, aren't you? There we go. So we are one block outside. So, if this is the block we want to save, you go like corner off that corner. And then we come up here and we come off this corner. And we make sure we're... It just has to be diagonal corner. So like I can remove this one now. I'm not going to use it. I'll use that other one we stuck over there. And I actually think we need to come out one more. Alright. We come here, we change the mode to corner, we give it a name. Can't use capitals, can't use spaces. But underscores and dashes and numbers will work, and lowercase letters. So I gave that a name. We come down here. We put this one to save mode. Type the same name. We decide if we want to include entities, if you want to include mobs, if you want to include paintings, if you want to include item frames, you need to include entities. And then you click this detect structure size and position. And that will find the corner with the same name and then outline your whole thing. And look, the outline goes around the whole thing there and goes around the whole thing there. It goes from the corner of this block to the corner of that block. So it needs to be one higher, one further to the left, one further, one further north, and this one needs to be one lower, one south, and one further west, But you come back to the one you have, once you verified it, it's good, or you can move it and come back here and hit detect again. Or if you know what you're doing, you can adjust these numbers. But once you're all ready, you click this save over here that's all capitals. This will change the mode of the block, so you don't want to click that. So you click this one, and it now says saved as Minecraft Creeper Base. Okay, what does that mean? Well, you go to your Minecraft save directories, which I happen to have here. And this world is called 113 test, so you open that up. Then should see a directory called generated. You open that up. You can, as this said, Minecraft Creeper Base. So before the Minecraft is the directory name. There'll then be structures, and then you see Creeper Base. You can leave it here. I like to copy it, and I'll copy it into this directory over here where I've been keeping all my saved structures. So I'll say paste. You don't have to do this. It's just what I do. But then that is saved. You can then come here and say choose and Creeper Base. And I have standard Creeper Base here, which is the one I tested with. Then you can say click open, and here width, length, height, one command. You can copy the command. You can then grab your command block, paste that command, power the command block, and you've now just duplicated your creeper base. Now, in this case, there's one small error. not really an error. Hey, there's sand here. And the sand fell. Well, if you don't want that to happen, you can put a base of something, cobblestone, and then just pick this again, copy the command, and now it will generate it with cobblestone underneath. Boom, there's a cobblestone. The sand does not fall anymore because it's supported by cobblestone. And yeah, that's all you need to know, I think. Quiet makes sure the command block doesn't actually output to your console, although when you paste a command, it will output to the console. But it won't output to everybody, all the other operators' consoles when you run it. Clear will make sure and fill the whole area with air before running. That's the way it knows there's enough room for everything to fit. No dangerous blocks. Will not place TNT or fire or lava if enabled. No monsters. Will not place any mobs like creepers or skeletons, etc., etc., etc. No mobs won't place any mobs at all. If you have these both selected, it will still place paintings and item frames. Ignore wire power will ignore how much power is in redstone. It will just place the redstone down and allow the game to figure out how much power it should have after a tick or two. Limit command distance really isn't applicable anymore because you can't get really long commands. But basically, if you had a big enough structure that was more than, let's say, 100 blocks, more than 100 command blocks needed, it would basically wrap the command blocks into a second line of them. Server safe, normally you can do about 32,000 commands in a command block. Server safe will lower this to, I think, about 30,000, or maybe it was 28,000, because the server I was playing on, I was getting kicked for using this large of a command that did work in single player, but for whatever reason it was kicking me on a server by using a slightly smaller command length. You'll need slightly more command blocks, but I wasn't getting kicked from the server when trying to paste those large commands into the command block. Complex rails, I showed you. Remove barriers is if for certain things, like certain, well, it used to be necessary for certain slime block flying machines because they would automatically be activated, because as placing blocks, the observers would get activated. So you could put barriers to prevent the slime machine from actually moving, and then at the end it would remove all the barrier blocks automatically if this was checked. Minimize water will only place the water source blocks instead of the flowing water as well. If you have a lot of flowing water, this would make it a lot smaller, a lot less commands needed, but you may need to update the water to get it flowing again. Min entities have a lot of settings besides just like their health, their position, and what direction they're facing. This basically only puts their health, position, and the direction they're facing, and I think what they're holding and if they have armor. But it leaves out a lot of other unnecessary stuff, like how long, if they're in the air and how long they've been falling, and how, if their portal cooldown and all sorts of other things. Hollow out, if you have a really big structure that has a lot of solid areas, hollow out will only place the shell, basically only the blocks that are possible to be seen. If there's a block that's surrounded by other blocks and you'll never see it, it will leave it out so that it will be less commands most of the time. Clone areas, instead of just placing blocks, it will try to find areas that it can clone, but that will take a lot of time to search for clones. And in imperfect fills, right now the way it works is it will never place a block and then replace it with something else. Imperfect fill will say, hey, this area is like 90% one block type. Like this creeper face, it's mostly emerald blocks. Let's just do a big fill of emerald blocks and then replace some of these things. But that also takes more time to search for than just, okay, here's a block, let's write a command for it. So that's everything. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you find the utility useful, if you use it in any capacity whatsoever. Let me know if you know of a utility that will convert 1.12 worlds into 1.13 worlds or blocks or structures. That would help me a lot in getting support for structures back into the application. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.